Tancredo's going to be here.
Introduce to you the next governor of the state of Colorado, Tancredo.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. There's my man. I had it tied, I don't know where it went. This campaign has been amazing in a number of ways. That's certainly true. I never thought several months ago, I actually did not think I was going to be participating in a race for governor as actually a candidate. Certainly I was going to be supporting the conservative candidate in the race, and the Republican I was all set to support, was actually involved with Josh Penry and with Scott McGinnis both. It turned out that it seemed to me, certainly, that if we were going to avoid what appeared to me to be a train wreck about ready to happen for the Republican Party, somebody had to do something. I certainly looked for people to step in when no one would do it. Well, here I am. So, and everywhere we've been, really, it's been wonderful and growing every single day. That's why I know the momentum is the most important thing in any campaign. It truly, we've got it. And we're aided, of course, by the fact that I'm running against a guy who says things like, all these people in rural Colorado, you know, they're all backward-thinking people. Now, do you remember, you guys, somebody else saying something similar, of a similar nature? Yeah. There's a guy, if I recall correctly, his name is Obama. And he said, you know, when times get tough, people, it's just natural, they start clinging to their guns and their Bibles.
Yes,
You know?
right.
And this is the attitude. This is the attitude that is prevalent. Truly, this sort of liberal elite, effetist group of bozos who think of themselves as the arbiters of what is good and bad and what kind of values America should have. And I'll tell you, when you see this, it makes you ever more aware of the fact that what we're finding here is not just a guy who wants to be governor, who's one of the most left-wing, really left-wing loony type guys that we've got in politics in Colorado. We have some interesting observations to make about a guy by the name of Hickenloops. We have found out some things about who he gives money to, and it tells you a little more about him. Now, he won't tell us everybody he gives money to. He won't release that information. But we know he gives money to La Raza and MoveOn.org and Acorn and Recreate 68, and Hamas ends up getting money through his fund that he set up called the Chinook Fund. Now, because the most controversial group I've ever given money to is the Salvation Army. But my church gets most of my money, and in contributions, always had, and I'm happy with it. I got no problem. And we get this call. Actually, I think it came in an email. The other day, we're doing a debate downtown Denver, and it's Denver Chamber of Commerce, okay? And they send Babe Buchanan, they send her this little note, says, we have received information from the Hickenlooper campaign, and they wanted us to pass on these rules to all the other candidates. And here's one rule from the Hickenlooper campaign. No candidate is allowed to look at the mayor. What? Can't look at him. They don't want, this is from their campaign, you can't look at him. And by the way, any question that you have to address to the moderator, and he will then ask the mayor. Doesn't like me looking at him. Faye says, doesn't it remind you when you were driving your kids to school and they're in elementary school going, Mommy's looking at me. He's looking at me. Don't let him look at me. A lot of little kid in me, too, because I did sit there almost the entire time going, We know that we are making a lot of headway, and we know that John Hickenlooper is not right for Colorado, and people are seeing it, they understand it, they realize it, and now what's good is they're realizing there's an alternative, and there is. I could not be, John is a nice fellow, he really is. He's an affable fellow. I can get along with him, even if he doesn't want me to look at him. I can talk to him like this and still get along with him. But he's he's a planet away from me on issues. Past performance almost always tells you what the future performance is going to be with a politician. And that's why you need to know it. That's why you better try as hard as you can to know about me and about Mr. Hickenlooper. Because no matter what he says about being a moderate, what's he done as the mayor of Denver? What moderate steps has he taken? Has he reduced taxes? Not hardly. Increased them $290 million. You tell me anything he's done. I mean, he says that he created jobs. He says he created 1,000 jobs. Well, there may be 1,000 jobs created, that are associated with the businesses that he has started, the brew pubs. How many of those are for illegal aliens? Because frankly, there were a lot. He had gotten, I don't know how many hundred. The group that has his restaurants have received, I don't know, hundreds of no-match letters, they're called, from the Social Security saying, you got all these people working for you that are, that are not, their Social Security number just doesn't fit here. It doesn't work. So, may have created jobs. Is he running a sanctuary city or not? The answer is absolutely yes, he is. There is no choice about a sanctuary city. He knows that. He would make Colorado into a sanctuary state if he could. But I'll tell you, it's not going to happen.
That's right.
This ain't going to happen. It's an enormously expensive gift from the federal government. Right now we have $1.2 billion $1.2 billion deficit we're facing. $885 million of that is stimulus money we got last year that we're not going to get next year, and that we funded programs with that now becomes a deficit for us. See, every time they try to infringe upon the state's rights that we represent, we're going to tell them to go pound sand. Because we have to, you guys. This is part of the big problem. There are a million issues we have to talk about in Colorado. We face deficits that are enormous, and we don't have the same luxury, of course, that the federal government does to ignore them or just print money. I mean, we have to deal with this. And so we have to confront really heady issues. Because we do not have, as I say, the option that Mayor Hickenlooper wants is open all the time, is the option to increase taxes. That is exactly the wrong idea, the exactly wrong thing to do in a recession. I do not believe Coloradans are undertaxed. Do you feel undertaxed? Anybody in this room feel like, I should really be paying a lot more money? The regulations that we have used to drive businesses out of the state, especially oil and gas, those have got to be undone. They've got to be unwound. We cannot continue to drive corporations, businesses out of the state of Colorado. And I tell you, we have a great opportunity. There's a tremendous challenge, but at the same time, I look at it as an opportunity. Because we've never really had the ability before, I don't think, to actually reduce the size and scope of government. We've always looked at it like the possibility of reducing the increase in the growth of government, but not actually looking at reducing where you start from. You know what I mean? Making it smaller, making it more efficient, giving people more freedom. And now with these deficits, and without raising taxes, we're going to have to do some things that will require some guts. And it will allow us to actually begin to reduce the size of government, which I cannot tell you how happy I would be after 4 years or whatever, being able to look back and say, yeah, this government is actually smaller than the day I took over. I mean, that would be, for me anyway, a great accomplishment.